Welcome to the Q Series on the Sixth Suite. I'm Nikki Stone, here with Claire Ravenstreet, and for this special run, we're coming to you straight from Cannes.
Usually, we're unpacking the architecture of business and media, but this week, things are moving fast. We're cutting through the noise of the Croisette to bring you exactly what you need to know.
Every single day, we're dropping a special 6-minute Cannes wrap-up. 6 minutes of the highest signal insights, biggest shifts, and straight talk from the ground.
You won't want to miss a beat. Hit subscribe and follow right now so the latest intel lands directly in your feed every day.
And while we're here celebrating the peak of the industry, we're also dedicating this series to the people who build it. That's why we're proudly raising awareness for NABS, the National Advertising Benevolent Society.
NABS is the vital safety net for Canadian media and advertising professionals, providing everything from financial assistance to mental wellness support when our community needs it most.
We've linked them in the show notes below, so please take a minute to learn more and support their mission. Now, let's start the clock on today's 6 minutes. Hello, everyone. I'm Nikki Stone, founder of YQ and host of the Sixth Suite. We're shooting live here from Cannes, raising awareness and money for NABS while we're here. This is the launch of our Q series, and our first guest is my dear friend Aaron Reitkopf. We're shooting live here from the Brandon Cultures Villa. And Aaron, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'll start just by saying thank you, Nikki, for having me, and thanks for supporting NABS. What a cool thing to be doing. And thanks for inviting me to help support NABS also, too. With that, so I'm Aaron. My nickname is Large and in Charge. What I'm currently large and in charge of is an entity called Dawn. And what Dawn does is Dawn is a collection of the A-list agencies that are still independent, founder-led, really pushing forward on independence and agility and quality. And those agencies are then supported by technologies, operating systems, things that allow them not to get captured in this kind of moment where they don't have access to those things so easily. And then underneath that, there's audiences, meaning where's the demand for their services and the audiences that need to be crafted for them. And below all of that, for these independents, where's the capital? It doesn't, make it work for it, but the capital works for them and helps them maintain their independence rather than giving it up and then being controlled by some other larger entity, most likely won't make things much better in the quality or the agility of that company itself.
I love all of that for so many reasons, but today we are going to ask you just a few short questions in what we call our 6-minute Q series here from Cannes. So the first question we have for you is, what was the most intelligent thing that you saw so far today or on your way here?
It's interesting. It was more of a conversation that I was witnessing that gave me a thought that I'd not realized, and probably the reason that coming to Cannes is really valuable, which was one of the panels today was talking about media searches, media reviews, how all that kind of work goes down. And because of their unique perspective, they were able to kind of show that the great in-housing movement actually is no longer the great in-housing movement, that they actually had a year of 2021 it began, then it crested downward. It was great to get perspective. Like for me personally, that was it was just an intelligent thing, and I did not seen that yet. I was still over accentuating how much the clients are taking this on themselves versus clients have now realized there's a much more intelligent way to kind of figure out how to balance those pieces and all that kind of stuff.
More of that hybrid approach.
Yeah. And also in this evolving network of AI implications, what is the right thing to do right now? So rather than owning it all, renting a bit is not a bad model for them. And equally, having an agency partner who has experience and knowledge that can't be in-house because it so needs to be in market, I think that's proven true. And I like that. It validates our industry better than a lot of things do.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's a big part of our philosophies at YQ, and I think that having the strategic partners that you need that are specialists in their area where they own the verticals is really, there's really an interesting time to be said for how the IAT process is evolving, because now there's the right? You have that semi-in-house
Yes.
team
Yeah.
that is collaborating with multiple specialty agencies and bespoke offerings
100%.
in order to get the best of the best out there when you are looking at it from those that are really deep about the
100%.
passion of the work.
100%. 100% agree.
All right, second question for
Okay,
you
I'm ready for it.
is what was the most contextually relevant thing that you've heard or seen so far today?
It would be it was a conversation from the greatest creative agency, which was the agency Rethink. That I still think it's the greatest creative agency in the world right now. And what I was trying to understand better was like the context in which they say no and choose not to do things. And it's a super hard thing to talk about. And what I liked very much was that they kind of recontextualized no. Like I always think about independence as like the ability to say no, and kind of what they were, what the respondents from like the experience Rethink was having in the marketplace was that the power of no happens before you say no. Like your choicefulness, your ability to know your own values so well, know you don't have to bend your values, know you can live your values, makes you shape the objects in front of you before you have to say no to a lot of things.
I
It was kind of
mean-
interesting. I thought it was the power of no, and it was much more about the decisions on values and the consistency of those values that drove the no's. It's not a desire to say no or and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, you take that scalpel to your purpose, and you really carve out what your true purpose is. It makes it a lot easier to win where you're
That's nicely
amazing.
said. I like scalpel to your purpose is great.
And eliminate the areas that are just causing static noise.
Yeah.
In your space.
Unnecessarily.
Yes.
I like that very much.
It's okay. My last question for you,
I'm
sir.
ready.
Last question. What was the thing that emotionally resonated the most so far?
Oh, for me, that one was interesting. So I'm here looking at from friends of mine who, particularly women, who have built their own enterprises. And
You know we love a good female founder.
I gotta say, I do. And women are fundamentally better as leaders than men. I've discovered over all these years.
He said it, not me.
I'm pretty sure they've proven it in lots of studies. I think it's just a fact. I don't think it's a debatable thing. The world doesn't reflect it, obviously. But and that's because the horrible Charlton Heston quote from My Cold Dead Hands. It's all, it's kind of why of itself.
That's
But
well said.
I got to see some female leaders who've risen so high, and lately I've been seeing panels where I walk into the panel and it's all women.
Oh,
and it's
bless.
not about women.
And you're not even at the female quotient.
It's right, and it's not about women. It's just a really good panel.
Yeah.
With the best people in the industry speaking about the thing, and no one's paying attention to whether it's all us girls or not. And that's like the nicest power. Like that. So for me, emotionally, that seems like it actually is maybe happening, at least in the independents.
It's a little bit more of the right people in the right conversations versus.
I think the access
Yeah.
was given a bit, not ease of access, but there was access. I think a lot of the democratization of certain things and technologies, and then, weird way, just the need, of like no one wants to live inside some of these models anymore.
Yeah.
And you're wrapping up here.
All right, last question for you. As we do for all of our Sixers, if you had one piece of life advice, not for wealth, not for health, but just for life.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. I think actually. This is I've been thinking about it a lot. When you have kids, you always think about life advice and stuff too. And I have two kids right now, and I'm always thinking like, should I say something really smart? And it doesn't really work that way. The answer is a bias to the new. The only thing that works is a complete and absolute bias to the new. Meaning the life advice is just like, keep embracing new. Just new, relentless new. I swear it works out. Bias to the new.
I really like that.
It's a real thing.
As somebody who is large on innovation and innovation for growth,
Yeah.
it's actually a big topic of the book that as you know, I just wrote a book.
I know, I'm so
and,
excited.
It's coming out in September, but
can't
it's
wait.
a large part of the conversation that we have in there.
I
It's
can't
like
wait to read it.
how to get cultures to actually drive that level of innovation, because innovation is the key to growth.
And it scares everybody because change is hard.
Yes, because change is hard.
That's why you have to decide you're going to change all the time.
All right, Aaron Reitkopf, my
Thank you
friend.
so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for your time. Of course, as always, donate to NABS. The link is below in
Support NABS.
the comments. That's your 6 minutes for today.
If you've pulled value from this quick hit, we want to hear from you.
This entire series is about showing where business is going and dropping life advice genuinely worth sharing. If today's wrap-up gave you a new perspective, send this episode to 3 people you want to see succeed.
And we want to keep the conversation going in the comments, so drop your absolute best piece of life advice below. What's the one rule that you operate by?
Subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next Can Dispatch on the 6th Suite.